Hello everyone, welcome to the next session of this SAP basis training. In this particular session, we will learn about modifying repository object from SAP standard and the factors which we need to take care while doing any modification in SAP standard repository. As we know, when you are doing any SAP implementation, the business always requires that you need to create new object. The sense, not always, in most of the time you will have some of modification or some of new requirement which is required in order to fulfill the customer requirement. Either it can be a new object you are going to create, or you may also modify the SAP standard objects. So when you make any modification, let's say when you have a standard SAP program which is actually available as a copy in our SAP systems. So when you make any changes in the copies, then this will be referred as repair. This is only done in the exceptional cases, as you know. So when you make any changes in the when you repair the SAP objects, then that will be referred as a modification. So in the same downstream also, let's say in the quality as well as a productive system also, in the standard SAP program will be referred like this: repair and modification. Now let's say if you have your own object, or let's say our own program, in that case it will be referred, the changes in this one will be referred as a correction or a development in the development system, and in the quality and the productive system this will be referred as a repair. Now let's see a little more detail about classification of task and transport request, which we also know already. The distinction made between two types of development task as development as well as correction. This is the change of original system, and repairs, that is change in SAP system other than the original systems. The object saved in the local object cannot be transported. This we have seen it before. When you save any changes as a local object, then this particular objects cannot be transported. That means it applicable only to that specific system where you are changing. As we also seen, the package of the repository objects does determines what type of transport request is transportable, or is it a local objects. This also again you can determine that when you are creating your own development, your own objects also, you can determine what kind of packages you wanted to assign. Okay, this is what we have seen so far. When you are doing any changes in the customizing, or changes in the customer object or in SAP object in the development system, let's say we create a new object in the development system, then we need to assign the package, then we will create the object, then the object is of course assigned to the transport request, then the transport request will be released and the transport directory there. Then once it is released, then we will create the TR in the transport directory, then we will transport it to QoS and productive system. Let's say if it is a change or a correction in the one development, then we don't need to create any transport, we don't need to assign any object because object is already existing. You will only do the changes, then you will assign to the task, then you will release and transport to the different system. Let's say if it is an SAP object or SAP standard object, whenever we are changing in SAP standard object, it is necessary that you will register with SAP using SSCR key, that we have seen it before in our previous session, how to create an SSCR key. So using that one, you can do the changes in the object, then you will assign the changes to a task or a transport request, then it will be released and transported to development as well as quality as well as productive systems. Next, next let us see what is modification assistance. So whenever you change any SAP standard object, you have additional modification assistance. So when you go for that, when you go to the change mode of the particular object, then you will see some additional buttons which is available for you to do these modifications. We have insert, replace, delete and undo. So let's say using this button, if you, let's say if you want to insert some code, then you can insert this code, or if you want to remove this code and replace with something else, then you can do replace option, or you can delete options, and you can also have undo options. Using this one, the SAP standard objects, when you use this modification assistant, then SAP know what is the actual work done in the specific line or specific program. Let's say if you go to our SAP system, let's say if we go to SC38, let's go to our program which we have created. We do not have any additional buttons here. Let's take one of the program from SAP, let's say RS Param. If you go to change, actually you need to have this access key if you want to modify anything. Right now we don't have it. Let's say I will say only display. If I go here, you can see here, this is the modification assistance where you can see the insert button, replace and delete and undo. So once you have the access key for modification from your OSS or the service marketplace, then this will be enabled. Then you can do this modification in the standard program itself. Okay, and when you go to change, and you can see these are all the object which you need to key in your OSS to get this particular access key. You need this object name as well as the installation number, then you will get the access key, same like developer key, then you can use that one and start modification. Okay, with this we are coming to the end of the session. Thank you very much for listening. I will see you in the next session. Bye bye.